Hi everyone. The fourth round of the Superbet Chess Classic in Bucharest saw Praggnanandhaa taking on Anish Giri. Now this encounter is always very exciting because they both are players who are loved by the chess world. And before going to the game, I want to show you a few pictures. They are very nice ones, and you will like them. So here's the first one. You can see Anish being very, you know, before the game, just before the start of the game. This is also another picture of Anish there. Um, that's one where Gary Kasparov and Anish meet each other. A very nice one with smiles on their face. Kasparov also made the first move on the board of Firuza and Gukesh. So that was an iconic moment. Maybe a caption here would be very nice. What is he saying to both of them? That's also Gary making a move on the board of Firuza. Um, Before that, he asked, should I go there and make the move? Um, the game between Pragg and Anish was very intense. You can see here Anish really under time pressure, just slamming the clock, it seems. And also, the game ended in a decisive result. We will try to keep it a secret for now. And one thing which I've always enjoyed about both Pragg and Anish is the fact that they analyze their game after it's done. It's one of that amazing qualities that they have. Pragg's beautiful portraits taken by Lennart Otis here, beautiful ones by him. And yeah, and I just wanted to show them. So let's go to the game and let's see how the game panned out. So Pragg was with the white pieces. He opens with d4, d5, c4, queen's gambit accepted, knight comes out to f3, knight f6, e3, e6, you take, c5, castles, a6. This is all well known, and I guess this the main moves here are d takes c5, a4, bishop b3, queen e2, b3, so many moves. But Pragg went for a relatively lesser played move, bishop e2. Although this has also been played by many good players. Anish went knight d7. He's well prepared generally. Knight d2, bishop e7. Now we have very few games here. I think Anish took some 3-4 minutes to make bishop e7 and then takes, and he took with the bishop. Knight takes c5 was played in the game between Vincent Keimer and Baburin. This was at the Olympiad in 2022. Keimer was white and he went on to win. But bishop c5, new move by Anish. And now queen c2. I thought Pragg just wanted to play some different kind of a game because b3 looks like the most normal move, or you want to play a3 followed by b4. But he went queen c2, just putting the queen here, putting pressure on this diagonal, putting pressure here. Black castled. Now he went rook d1, just again putting the rook opposite the queen. Queen moved to the side, and perhaps a good idea here could have been knight to b3, just putting pressure on the bishop. And if you go back bishop a7, then suddenly you start feeling like these squares a bit soft. So bishop d2, later on maybe a3, bishop b4 could become problems to face. So perhaps b3 made more sense here. I mean, knight b3 made more sense, and if bishop d6, maybe e4 with interesting play. But he went b3, b6, and now white played the move knight to e4. So this is a very, very nice move by Pragg because he was alert that right now the rook is hanging. So after take, you have to spend time saving the rook. Rook b8, bishop b2, and bishop b7, queen f4, rook d8, rook c1, knight f6. I thought the game will end in a draw here. nothing much is happening. It looks pretty calm. But then I noticed that there are some tricks that can happen. For now, went bishop d3. And here, Anish thought for a massive 23 minutes or so and came up with this move, rook d5, which turned out to be a mistake. He should have gone bishop d6 here, which leads to an equal position. But rook d5, and I want you to pause this video and think, what would you do here for white to play? So here you will see that there is some pressure here, and you could shift your queen to h4. But then in such positions, I think a very good idea is this rook fd8. Even though you are giving up a pawn, maybe with the queen, it's not much, and these pieces are very well placed. So this might have been his idea, but Pragg stunned Anish with the move b4. And if you found this, kudos to you. Very strong move. The main point, of course, is that if you take bishop b4, I take bishop f6. You can't take with the queen as your bishop would be hanging. So you take g takes f6, and now I enter with the rook, and you are losing material because this is hanging and this is hanging. So perhaps you could play queen d8, takes. I take. I give a check. King goes to h8, queen b4. Now threatening the rook. You want to back rank mate me, but knight e1, and I'm piece up. So taking the pawn was out of question. He had to go back, and now maybe this was another moment where you could improve upon the play of Praggnanandhaa. He actually didn't play the best move, white to play. So Pragg here decided to chop off the knight. Maybe not the best move, because after take, okay, white is still better, but perhaps here Anish could have gone g takes f6, and the game is still quite interesting. The main point being that check, king here, queen h4, f5, and queen takes, bishop takes, rook c7. It feels like you're going to lose a piece, but rook fd8, and I have some counterplay running here. So take, and the position remains still complex. So, but bishop f6, gf6 was good, but here queen h4 would have been the best move. And I'm not so sure why Pragg did not go for this. I tried to think about it. Maybe he didn't like rook d8. Could be. Bishop f6, queen f6, queen h7, king f8. But then again, e4, and it's a better position for white. And if you play a move like h6 here, again e4 is very strong with e5 coming up. So yeah, not so sure why he did not do this. But bishop f6 was played, queen f6, takes, pawn takes, and now came this very nice move. Maybe you want to just think about it. What do you play here as white? Yes, e4, and the rook is trapped. So rook d3, bishop b4 was taken, rook c4 played here. Actually, another very strong move here would have been to push the pawn. It's not so simple actually to find this move. But the point is, after take, I get rook d7 and I get the other rook in, and should be good. But rook c4 is fine. a5 played, threatening now bishop a6. And once again here, e5 should have been preferred by Pragg. And I think the main point is that if you go here, I have a check, and then I save my rook. Bishop f3, gf3 takes. Yeah, this is very good play and perhaps winning for white. But Pragg went directly rook d7, and I liked how Anish played this part of the game. He first went bishop c8, e5, bishop e6. Rook had to come back, otherwise the a2 pawn is hanging. And now rook d8. So you will see that black has one pawn and a bishop for a rook, which is pretty good. Also, the bishop is very strong. The other bishop can come here. The rook can enter. g4. And now bishop c5, king g2. And here I think Anish could have played this move h5, which is not so simple to understand, but it's basically a powerful move. Because if you take here, I have this rook d3 ideas. And then there are all these threats of taking here, or rook a3, taking here. And I don't think that uh, black has too much of trouble here. But okay, you could also go directly rook d3 trying to get here. The main problem is that the king is a little bit cornered, and this move h5 does this job, like it is trying to create space for the king on h7. So king g7, knight h4, h5, check. I really like this entire maneuver by Pragg, which was this knight h4 business, because the main thing is that now the king is a bit boxed in. Rook d4. And here is something to learn from Pragg. I think for all the people who are trying to improve how to win winning positions, from Pragg you can learn that pawn moves are committal. So even though f3 is a good move here, should not be any issues. The point that you are pushing a pawn, he first goes rook e2. Because rooks can move backwards, pawns cannot. Rook d3, then he played h4, fixing the pawn. Rook came back, and now he played f3. So you see, this is something you will see repeatedly in Pragg. He does not hurry. Here also, he gave a check, and here he could have gone rook h8, and I'm not so sure why he did not choose this. Maybe he felt like this was a bit too risky. Uh, Maybe like a4, rook h5, a3, rook h8, rook b4. Oops, sorry, rook b4 with the idea of rook b2. But then king g3, rook b2, rook g2, and then the h pawn just keeps moving forward. So perhaps he even calculated further. I'm sure these players calculate a lot in depth, but white is winning here. He just gave a check, king g3, rook g2, wanting to come from the g file, king h3, rook b7, rook c7, and the rook tries to come from a4 here. So Anish stops it, rook b7, and now he brings his king in finally. Pragg. The king is well placed here on c2, and here you want to go after this pawn, but rook will come to c7. So he first played king g7, rook c3. And now he's threatening rook d3 to trade the rooks and to enter the position. So he went bishop f2. Now he has to go active. So the rook gets to the 7th. He had to defend. The entire idea of this king sort of march here is that you were able to get both your rooks on the 7th rank. Yes, you lost a pawn in that, but then the king comes back to take care of this. And black can stay passive here, but then he would lose this important pawn. So that's the reason why Anish decided to hold on to b6 pawn. And now once again you will see that calmly he brings his king back up, step by step, just getting it done, trades the rooks. And now there is some counterplay that's coming up here. And this is where I think Pragg really analyzed this beautifully. Like, because many people could go into this variation. It's not pointless. It's also winning. But Pragg says, you know what I'll do? I'll do a king d7, king c6, and king here. And you have no counterplay. I'm going to take this, and just queen my pawn. And I'm going to win. So in this way, Praggnanandhaa scored a very important win over Anish Giri, his first win at this event. In fact, this round had two decisive games, Caruana beating Bogdan Daniel Diaz and Pragg beating Anish. And these are the standings now. We have Caruana leading with 3 points and Praggnanandhaa and Gukesh both on 2.5. Firuja, Nepo, Wesley and MVL on 2. Nodirbek and Anish on 1.5 and Bogdan Daniel Diaz on 1. So a very, very key round that was. And today we'll have the fifth round before going one round before the rest day. On 1st of July is the rest day. But I hope you liked Pragg's technique here and the way in which he beat Anish Giri. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.